Okay. What's up, Cal? What's up, Will? It's like my transition didn't work, man. Swear. Um, OBS can be kind of a pain sometimes. What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? How's the week been? The weekend? Who's ready for Christmas? Not me. I'm just not. But hey, what can you do? What can you do? All right. Well, it has been a heck of a week. Heck of a week. So much has happened. You guys realize how much has happened in this last week? Literally since this game released. There's been so much talk about it. I've seen tons of reviews, some retracted, some are really good and spot on, and they know what they're talking about and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, just a ton going on, ton of it. Can everybody hear me? Okay, just want to make sure. Right for Christmas and Borderlands. Yes. Well, I would hope that holiday over with decal. Come on, man. Come on. Where's your Christmas spirit? Don't be a Grinch. Um, I would hope with Christmas, Will, that you'll be getting this. I would hope so. I'll be honest with you. I was kind of wanting to do a live stream of this after I did this, but after we did the review discussion, but I'm not going to be able to do that tonight. So we're kind of starting a little early, but tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, Wednesday. But at some point, I have to get back into this game. It's killing me that I haven't played it again. So all right, so the couple things I want to talk about here. I'm gonna pull up my notes. Perfect. Sweet. Thank you, sir. Captain Solo. It's a bit ridiculous, but I'll take it. It's fine. It's fine. I'll take the flattery. Um, so, I mean, the first thing I want to talk about, I mean, just to start things off, is really how crazy a year has been. I only just joined the PSVR community this year, and I have to say it's been a heck of a ride. Um, Starting off with crazy games like Moss and Apex Construct in the beginning of the year, or closer to the earlier half of the year. Um, it's just crazy to see where we are at the end of 2018, and it gives me a lot of excitement for 2019, especially when we know some of these really big titles that are coming. Things like Zero Killed, things like Battle X, Dreams. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot going on. People are busy, and I'm excited for it. Honestly, I honestly wasn't too sure what to expect when I got into the PSVR arena, this year. But it's blown me away. It's blown me away. The community's blown me away. Everyone's always so supportive, and just being able to openly talk about video games again, which is something that I feel like I haven't done for a very long time, and in a very critical and insightful way. It's been nice. So thank all of you for making this a great year so far. So um, further from that, I am really excited to talk obviously about this game specifically. We've got the bundle that's coming here shortly. Or actually, I'm sorry, I think the bundle is actually released yesterday on sale. You've got a lot of things happening with this game specifically, and I am hoping, like everyone's hoping, like we always hope when a new game comes out, that this will bring hype, that this will bring attention, and of course there's always attention that we're not a fan of. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Tony PS4, yeah, I remember PSVR Worlds was amazing and one of the best games. Look at PSVR now. No joke, no joke. And it's funny, as I played PSVR Worlds in a demo, and that was, God. I mean, that was. It seems like it was forever ago, and that was in a store, and it was cool. It was cool, but I will admit that I was one of the first. Not one of the first. I would have been one of the first people I know to have tried it and thought, this seems gimmicky, right? So, like, for example, the shark experience, like, it's super cool. It's fun to show people, but at the end of the day, it's not a game, right? You're not doing much. You can't really interact with your environment. You're just along for the ride. So, um, that bundle makes me want to buy a PS4 again. I paid 400 for the headset by itself. It was still worth it. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. The bundle has been really enticing. I've actually got a buddy who's been itching to get into this, but he's always been like, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. And I'm like, listen, I'll buy the new bundle. I'll sell you my headset for half the cost, so you can just reimburse me like $100, whatever. and then boom, now you've got it. Now we've got it, and we're ready to go. So I've thought about it. I really have. Not that I need that now because I have both Beat Saber, Borderlands, and two move controllers, and a headset and a camera and a PS. I've got it all right, but still, I think it'd be kind of cool. Also, to have the version 2 headset would be nice, but you know, first world problems. Yeah, definitely, it's definitely true. It's been it really has been a banner year for PSVR. I know that we they announced that I think it was the end of Q3 that 3 million headsets were sold. That's awesome. I know it doesn't it's not the traction that we want. All of us want more for it, but it still is a really huge milestone. And to be honest with you, the input that the community has, the dedication that the community has, and the seemingly dedicated Sony is really encouraging. So I'm really looking forward to the next milestone of 6 mil or 10 or however wherever we go from there. Job Simulator was your first, really, with the extra games do a giveaway. Oh, interesting that you would mention that. Will more on that later. Um, yeah. Anyway, it's crazy milestones and oh, I'm sorry, Cal. I wanted to say Job Simulator. That's an interesting first title. My first one was Super Hot. My first actual um, my first actual PSVR experience was Super Hot, other than Worlds. So exciting stuff. Um, let's see. And this okay. So I wrote this down earlier, and I feel like this is a really huge thing. Just kind of looking back on the last year, and when I started, when I bought my headset, um, I let's put our cards on the table. I knew it was the lesser headset of, like, say, the Vive or the Oculus, right? I knew it was the lesser of these three headsets. But at the time, it made more feasible sense. I don't have a supercomputer to really run it. I really just can't. I really just can't make PCVR work for my setup right now. But the truth of it is that this headset's blowing me away. And I think in late Q3 and in Q4 of this year, this headset has not only kind of proven me wrong in many ways, but it's become its own staple headset. It's now got you know titles that no other headset can boast, and they're huge, huge titles. They're also, some of the best VR games that we've seen all year, and you're actually seeing that in the awards ceremonies and things like that. It's crazy to watch, and I'm so, you know, again, I am so glad that I'm Team Sony, and I'm not necessarily one of those hardcore fanboys. I'm going to start ragging on Xbox, but I'm just or even on PC gaming. It's just watching Sony do their thing is awesome because they know how to do it. They know they're like, you know what, our players are dedicated to us. These may not be the best graphics you can possibly have in VR, but you know what we're going to offer you that no one else is going to get? Borderlands. You know what else we're going to offer you that no one else is going to get? Astrobot. Things that are going to blow people's minds when it comes to a VR experience, and it's going to be exclusive to our users at least for a little while. And it's freaking huge, man. It really is. Woofin. What's up, joystick? Let's see. It's surprising how much Sony is supporting PSVR considering track record with standalone tech. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, but I'm glad that they are. I mean, they're really sticking their neck out, and I think that we all really appreciate it, and I hope that they can see that through our support and our. All, I mean, the thing is, like, the content creators in this, um, in this, uh, in this field too, in the PSVR arena, there's really not that many of us. I know may seem like a lot for a lot of us who are engaged constantly, but there's just really not that many. And it's a small community to begin with, but we're all pushing. We're all pushing. We're like, let's more content, more content, more content, more content, and it just keeps everybody interested, keeps this all alive. So it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Um, so before I go into my own personal opinions on Borderlands 2, I do kind of want to I address kind of the elephant in the room, and obviously everyone's talking about it on Twitter. If you have a Twitter, wink, will wink. Um, everyone's talking about the controversy of the IGN review and everything that's going on with that. So I had a couple of thoughts earlier today that I was just kind of mulling around with it. Um, yeah, I agree. I agree, Guru. And they're they're pushing hard. They're pushing real hard, and I love it. And they're just trying to get their foot in every door they possibly can, which makes sense if you think about it, because Sony has always been sort of a bigger company in general, but their sales are starting to focus more on gaming and movie production than it used to be on tech. So it's interesting how that plays out. Anyway, derailed. Um, so the first thing is obviously elephant in the room again. The IGN review was just riddled with inaccuracies. I don't know if any of you guys got to watch any of the gameplay or read the reviews, but it's just like obviously, the user had never played a VR game before. And if he had, he's played maybe 3 and just assumed that all of them were the same, that what you open the box as is what you get. You really don't have any other choices than that. That's it. Um, and it's just it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind that somebody like a company of this magnitude in the gaming arena could dedicate so little time to VR and not even like quality check it at all before it's just pushed out into our hands. It's crazy. Oh yeah, well, I mean, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. But it's true though, and it got me thinking though. Honestly, I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on. Um, so obviously they retracted the statement, which thank God they retracted their statement. But I have to be honest with you, I've thought about this a lot, and I'm surely they've announced that they're going to release another review at the end of this week, and I have to admit, I am I'm hesitant to see it at all, and I almost don't know if I want anyone else to see it either. And it's not to censor or shield people from opinions, but how disinformation is what I would call it. What's up, chicken? Um, and I guess it brings me to my real question here, and I'm curious if you guys have any thoughts about this. About to play myself. Oh man, I want to play so bad. I really do. I'm playing tomorrow or Wednesday, one of the two. What do you guys think? Do you think that the IGN coverage is actually a benefit? And I thought about this a lot. And when we look at IGN's track record with covering PSVR titles or even a lot of VR titles, they are just hit or miss always. It's for example, PSVR has gotten some really great titles this year. Firewall Zero R being a big one. Um, yeah, yeah, they treat it like it's a dish thing, which there's credence to that opinion, right? It is still kind of a niche thing, right? Because there's such a small group of people using it, but it's also because people aren't talking about it. No one's actually experiencing this, and the only people that are have purchased a headset. They took a leap of faith, and now they're eating up all of our content, saying, "Okay, yeah, this is good. I want to enjoy this. How do I put it back in?" And that's what's happened with everything. Um, but anyway, they talked about Firewall early in the year, and I think there was like a small article on it. Nothing big. It was like a couple of paragraphs, and then Firewall comes out, no review. Why? What happened? Why was there no coverage on that? They gave Astrobot and Moss pretty glowing reviews, which is good, but the truth is that the inconsistency on like, are they going to give VR attention or are they not? Are they going to actually understand how to work a VR title, or are they just not? And they're just going to give us these, garbage opinions. It begs the question to me if I even want them dabbling. Like the truth is I kind of feel like we should leave it up to the professionals, and I really mean that. Brian Paul from Without Parole is killing it, and they're doing an amazing job. I even read an article that was talking about how Brian, how their channel beats out Forbes and IGN when it comes to PSVR or any other review channel, which makes sense. They're putting all the work forward and they're doing a killer job. And honestly, it's inspired a lot of us. So let's see. Currently, it's still a niche thing compared to how many people are playing flat gaming. Yeah. So look to the words right now. Yeah, exactly. Coverage will bring traffic to PS4 anyway because people are curious of controversy. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But the truth is like now, because IGN retracted their statement, and then if they re-release a review, like I am not expecting much from this review. I expect one of two things. One is either the review will be mediocre, which we'll get into that. I've seen a couple of people having mediocre reviews for this game. and I really feel like they are just completely unjustified. No worries, chicken. We'll see you in a minute. But the other thing I think could happen is that they could give it a glowing review, and it could be entirely inaccurate still. But the only reason they do it is to please us, right? And I feel like they probably won't go with Plan B because I feel like that's a huge risk. But at the same time, how does the first option help either? I don't know. It just seems odd at this point that they're even paying attention. I know it's Borderlands, but it's just like, either stick with us or get out. And I don't mean to be so cruel because while I'm not the biggest IGN lover or hater, I've always been kind of neutral. They're the first thing that may come to my mind when I'm thinking of, well, okay, where can I find news coverage on a video game, at least before VR specifically. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I just can't. I don't know if I can get behind them being involved, especially with how they've been doing it, because it's either nothing or it's crap. So I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway. Oh, and you know what? And actually, I want to mention these too because if anybody hasn't seen them, I mean, so great coverage that we have so far is obviously we have Without Pro, we have Shughead Gaming, Dave Station, Gamertag. I mean, and the truth is, the list goes on. I mean, these guys put a lot of work forward. They do really good work. Yeah, exactly, Guru. They screw the pooch. I feel like we've already given them a chance, to be honest with you. And the truth is, the chance was already always there. They just decide to ignore us until a large title comes out because for some reason they think that it will make all of the difference or something, and then they get in there and they just blow the whole thing up. It's ridiculous. Anyway, these guys make great content. They spend a lot of time doing it. They put a lot of effort into what they do, and you know, I honestly the first streamer that I really started watching was Gamertag, so I have a lot of respect for him, and he was a lot smaller then. But just this great stuff, and it's always really encouraging, uplifting, and the community just supports everybody when we do it, and it's good. It's good stuff. Also, obviously, Guru and Will. I mean, like, seriously, the list goes on. Decal, although Decal, I haven't seen you play a VR game in a while. Woofin. I mean, everyone's just involved, and I feel like that's kind of the way that it should be. I kind of want the titles to bring people in now, not IGN or anything like that. So, what's up, Jay? What's going on? Let's see. So, that being said, I want to kind of talk about just the good aspects of the game. So these are going to be my take. I'm sure anybody who yeah, oh yeah, good call, Juice. Yep, and Juice obviously. um, the publisher make me wonder about 2K and IGN relationship. Ooh, interesting. Yeah. I just review they fudge they won't touch any more VR games a while. But see, yeah, joystick. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Also, yeah, Juice is a great. Just as a clarity, Juice is a great resource for tips and tricks and things like that. Oh, stop it. No. Um. So, where was I? Okay. I'm not sure I know what you mean, Jay. Anyway, so yeah, so my opinions on it. I haven't decided. I mean, I'm probably not going to do a full length review. I typically don't do that if I have to pay for the game, just because it is a lot more work. So I try to give, the developers sort of the full treatment if they want me to review their game. Um, so that said, it is a great game, Jay. That said, my opinions on it is first off, it's great. It's really great. It does just about everything I want it to in VR, and it's kind of huge. So the first part about that is it's a full-fledged first-person shooter with RPG elements. And I mean, we all know what Borderlands is, so I'm not going to talk about much about that. But the fact is that we now have that. We now have that on the PSVR. And talk about a game-changing experience. I mean, this is something that I'm going to spend so much time playing. And I don't know if I'll ever truly beat it because I'll end up having other things that I have to move on to for review purposes or whatever it might be. But this game, it's just it will easily keep my attention for for at least the next year, if not more so, and that's if I'm playing regularly. It might even take longer than that. Good amount of Borderlands Severe, and I have some thoughts. Oh, interesting. I am curious about your thoughts then, Decal. I am very curious. It's exactly. I agree. I agree, Juice. It's exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. Massive open world. You know, the only game comparable that we have on VR that has that kind of an experience is Skyrim, and even then, you really can't compare the two. Skyrim is arguably much larger, but there's elements of Borderlands that personally I prefer than to Skyrim, especially the more linear storyline and that kind of thing. It's great. It's a great game. It's a great game. Thanks for coming in, Guru. Yeah, get her done, buddy. Get her done. One of the other things that blew my mind was the move support. So the move support in this game is amazing. Like it's when it comes down to it, in 2018, um, I would put Beat Saber and Borderlands 2 in possibly even tied. Beat Saber probably takes the win, but they're close as far as move support games that we've seen this year. I mean, it just does such a good job. It really blew me away. It took me off guard. Shook me off guard. It really did. Letter Guru, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for stopping in. It's better than Ready Player One, Jay. It's real life. Um, the other thing I absolutely love about this game is all of the effort that they put into it. For example, in the very beginning, you have a full fledged tutorial catered to VR, right? So they're not just talking to you as if it's just the same old game. They're talking to you as if you now have to experience it in VR, and it's just these little details that make all that difference. It makes a huge difference. Do you think they will patch in multiplayer or offer DLC paid or not? Oh, you know what? Good question. I'm gonna get to that. Honestly, there's a couple things I want to talk about, and we're probably gonna go over some of those things in the bad section. Um, was fight for VR multiplayer, but this one was the one instance that gets a pass. Yeah. Yeah. Again, more on that later. More on that later. We got more. We have multiplayer to talk about for sure. Beat Saber is amazing. Beat Saber is amazing. Um, but yeah, so the effort that they put into the tutorial in the beginning, the comfort settings, the movement schemes, the customization, like the fact that I can change, the angle of my hilt of my gun, or the fact that I can change whether I'm walking or teleporting, walking or jumping, just teleporting, how quickly. It's all there. Now we've all experienced these things, but let's be honest. What's the last game that we all played where it had all of those things, all of them? It's amazing, and I'm so thankful that they took the time to understand what we as a community have realized what really works when playing a VR title. Because let's be honest, these are the things that can make or break a VR experience, but the information's out there. And if people take the time to look into it, they'll find it, they'll know, and they can go on from there. So big props to Gearbox for that. Really big props. They did a really good job with it. Tease. Making me more desperate to play this. Well, the whole purpose of this is so that you'll go buy it. Anyway, how do you like my ASMR? Is that what it is? Yeah. Anyway, the other thing is obviously the weapon options. I don't want to talk about this too much because it's not unique to this game. It's unique to Borderlands, but let's all be honest here. One of the best parts about this is getting new weapons, right? It's so fun to get a new weapon. They are procedurally. I'm pretty sure it's random, procedurally generated weapon types. So the gun types may look the same, but you're gonna almost anytime you run into a new place, depending on your level, it's gonna generate a new gun that might be better, might be worse, all depending. It's really cool the way it works. Okay, Chicken and Will, you guys need to play the game. Like, what are you waiting for? What's going on? What's going on? It came out a week ago. You guys are late in VR standards. I'm just saying. One more day. ASM VR, yes. 8 days. Just 8 long days. You know what? You know what? I'm going to tell you the same thing that my parents told me when I was waiting for Santa. It'll come before you know it. Does it make you feel as good as it made me feel? Anyway. I have to agree. 2K did not have to make this VR version of Borderlands 2, but I'm so glad that. Yeah, definitely. other thing is obviously, and again, more about just the game itself. The loot. The loot was the thing I feel like was missing from In Death. I really feel like loot would have been a great addition to that game. I think it would have been awesome. Just a little bit more intrigue of things going on, but the loot, the loot, the loot, the loot, the loot. So much loot, and I love it and I hate it all at the same time because there's just so much of it, and I can't not get the loot. I have to get the loot. But it's great. What's gonna be that? The wait's gonna be worth it. We can't get it till Christmas. That's fair. Um, yeah, that's fair. I understand. I understand. But hey, it's going to be a very Merry Christmas. Hopefully, I'll see live streams so I have something to watch on Christmas Day. Um, anyway, so that's the good for me. If I'm being honest with you, there's probably a ton more. Um, the character development, the audio, the spatial audio put into it. You've never played Borderlands, so you don't know. Oh, woofing, woofing. Wait, don't know what part? There's so much. There's so much to and to not know. Um, Weapon customization is crazy. Um, enemies are crazy, and they're all obviously going to change and level up as kind of as you do. It's a massive open world with side quests and different ways that you can go. Full Loco Intel, yeah, I agree. I agree. I like the full locomotion and jump options, but it's all really good. Teach you the game. I'll teach you the game. It's a great game. Um, so anyway, like I said, that's probably all. I'm sorry. It's not all for the good part of this, but we're gonna move on. I mean, I think everyone gets the point. I'm very jazzed about this game, and I have more good things to say, but it's gonna be under other categories here, so I don't want to dive in too much. Are you really? Really? Wow. Juicy. I'm surprised. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and this has been my experience with VR almost across the board. So I didn't like Borderlands 2 flat. I enjoyed it with friends. It was, it's a fun four-player co-op kind of a game, but I wasn't in love with the game itself. Um, like I would never have played it by myself. VR always makes the difference for me. It always takes a game that I thought was, okay under certain circumstances and makes it okay all the time. And not just okay, but one of the best things I could have done in that time frame. It's amazing. So even for someone who doesn't like Borderlands, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, if you don't like Borderlands, then you're not going to like this. Well, that's actually not entirely true. But I would say that if you've played a good amount of Borderlands and you still don't like Borderlands, then it's probably true. But if you've only played a little bit and it didn't really grab you, you have to give this a try because this is going to grab you way differently. Man, this is getting really inappropriate. This is going to grab you way differently than the flat one does. It's just so much more engaging. The characters are so much better. I actually find it funnier, as weird as that is. I don't know why, but it's just way better. It's way better. Game to repeat my interest, honestly. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like I said, Wolfen, I don't entirely blame you if you didn't make Roller Coaster Tycoon better. Well, okay, so but they truly messed that one up. I watched your review, Will. I watched it. It was bad. That game does not look good at all. Even the building mechanics, like you said, it's like first off it looks janky, and secondly it's in flat. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. A few minutes with a friend, split screen, it never clicked. Exactly, Juice. Exactly. Try it with friends because it'll grab you differently. Yeah, somebody quote me on that one. That's a great one. Okay, all right. So like I said, I could talk about this game all day with how it's good, but let's go on. I want to talk about um, the bad parts of this game. So we're gonna. Oh, here we go. I like to roleplay realistic scenarios in VR, so even the most boring of scenarios in games become fun when I can physically duck behind cover and do VR stuff like that. Yeah, I totally agree. It's one of the reasons that Super Hot and Space Pirate Trainer are tons of fun in my opinion. And I'm just as sick as wave shooters as the next guy, but I really enjoyed Space Pirate Trainer because it gave me a more immersive, I can be a part of this world kind of experience. I felt like you feel like Star-Lord, right? Where you're dodging bullets and you've got these two awesome guns, and it's really cool. Anyway, okay, so the elephant in the room when it comes to the bad parts of this is obviously the price. take this or leave it, guys. I'll be honest with you. I almost wrote an essay about the price itself, because the thing is that everyone's talking about, and I even listened to Play PSVR, their podcast today, and Adam won't buy it unless it's half the cost. And while I completely sympathize with Adam, um, if this was a brand new game, if this game had never released before, we'd never heard of Borderlands, nothing like that, but this game was a VR exclusive, okay, and it released, this would be blowing everyone's minds. Now, it still may take a little while to catch on, but I feel like most people are essentially saying, wait, hold on. Will's interrupting. You have to interrupt for a minute. When will you stream Astrobot again? Oh my gosh, did you really just do that? Oh my gosh. The turning point. The ground renders at a different rate, it feels. Wait, the ground renders at a different rate, it feels. Interesting. You think that the ground actually looks different? I didn't notice any of that. I notice rendering issues if I turn my head too quickly. That's about all I would actually notice. And as far as Astrobot, well, I have no idea. I have no idea. This, especially with this now, it's probably going to go into my backlog. Oops. Oh well. I don't know. I do need to finish it. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe over this Christmas break I have time off, so maybe I'll get to. Anyway, I feel like most people that are focusing on the price are looking at it as, well, this game came out in 2012. Why would I pay $50 for a game that I, A, probably already have a copy for, B, have seen it on sale for like $7 multiple times, and C, never necessarily got into before? That's obviously, that depends on the person. But that's the thing. And exactly, Decal, like, AAA games cost AAA price. This game, if this game was released without any kind of a Borderlands title, I don't think anyone has the right stance to even begin to say that it is not worth $50. This game is entirely worth $50, and if we really can't like look past our own tunnel vision on this, like, where are we going? Because everyone keeps asking for them to start porting old games to PSVR. You got it. You actually got it here, but it's gonna come at a cost. What did you think they were gonna do? Just sell it to you on the cheap? No, it's a AAA title. And not only that, but the big picture here is that we are playing a massive open world RPG first person shooter in VR, and there's nothing comparable. Later, Jay. Um, Literally, just like, there's not even anything comparable, at least to my knowledge, on other VR platforms. At least to the scope, the effectiveness, like how well it's been pulled off, and even further than that, the actual overall title of it. This is the first real AAA title that I've actually heard of that's been ported over. That's been such a big game, such a big game. Um, Joe, obviously, I feel like we just have to get that out of the room. If I was forced to say that there is a good price for it, or what's worth the price and whatnot, I'd probably say $39.99, right? So $10 off. But again, I mean, we're at a point where we're literally splitting hairs, and then we're saying, well, it's not really worth the AAA price, even though it is most certainly a AAA game by every definition. So I don't know. Kind of gets me a little riled up, because on one point I agree, I understand, but on the other, it's like, how can we be nitpicky like this? We have to stay true to the fact that all we really want is really good games in VR, and when they produce that, we're willing to pay for it. That should be, I think that should be, they can't be hit home enough. I pay $1 per hour of a gameplay, then the game should cost like $200. And that's another really good point, right? That is another really good point. And a lot of people are like, well, yeah, but you're losing multiplayer and you're losing all these things. Well, yeah, yeah. But you're gaining something that you never had on flat. I'm sorry. Like, don't get me wrong, multiplayer is amazing, and like I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Multiplayer is absolutely amazing, and it's one of the best things you can do in VR. But um, this game is a cut above the rest when it comes to everything about it, specifically in a VR context, but also better than the original game. So it's like, we're picking our battles rather than looking at everything as a whole, and I just feel like it's a losing argument really. Um, the other elephant in the room, and we have to talk about it, is the multiplayer. No multiplayer. So when this was first announced, when the game itself was first announced, but we didn't know anything about it, the most exciting part was the multiplayer. I think everybody who knew anything about Borderlands, they heard that this game was coming, and we were just excited to play this with friends online. Um, up to 60. I mean, come on, this is a 40-hour plus VR game with a full story. And honestly, well, I can relate to that argument too. Like I really can. It just we've got to pick how we're gonna fight these battles. We really do. And to be honest with you, I kind of wish I want most every VR player to support this game because we want this stuff. We want this to come. We want more of this. And Gearbox has even said they are holding off to see a response from the community before they continue to do other productions, which probably means Borderlands 3 coming to VR, you guys. That would be huge. Further from that, but also if Borderlands does it, we're gonna see other players in the game. They're gonna do it. So I still want people to just buy the game. I just want to push them in the right direction. Um, Nowadays don't even offer 10 hours of gameplay. Yeah, it's true. Buy Tetris while you're at it. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Okay, so anyway, so no multiplayer. It does suck. I have to admit that this game would be my VR title of the year, and probably I'll play for a long time if it was multiplayer. Um, the multiplayer is most certainly a blow. It doesn't ruin anything, but it would up the enjoyment factor on this game significantly. And I don't want to undercut the game itself by saying that, because the game is still, as it stands, truly an amazing game. But adding the multiplayer to it would take it to a level that I don't think any of us have really experienced in a VR experience, and it would be awesome. It would be really awesome. Um, the other thing, especially if it had player co-op. By the way, that would be crucial. The other thing would be the aim support, and everyone's kind of talking about that. It's a little bit more of a lower roar, but I don't really fault them for not doing aim support right out of the gates, and I've even thought about this a little bit. If they bring aim support to this game, which I think we all want, I don't think there's any reason any of us wouldn't want that. If they bring aim support to the game, I think it's important. Or okay, so this is a personal preference. I personally would rather they got rid of or changed any one-handed weapon and made everything two-handed. There is something so strange about being in a VR world, holding the aim controller with two hands, and you're holding a pistol in the VR environment. It really breaks the immersion, and it makes it almost extremely difficult to aim and fire and just do all of that. So I would give away the slow mo ability for co-op, hands down, Cal, hands down. Trickster situation. Hopefully it ends the same. Yeah, hopefully it does. I still need to get that game because it sounds like so much fun to play in co-op. I still need to do that. Somebody needs to let me know when it goes on sale. Somebody needs to do that, if at all. If not, then I'll just wait till I can get that next. Yeah, I would definitely trade the slow mo for the co-op. I'm certain they wouldn't just remove co-op for the sake of removing co-op. It obviously wouldn't have passed Sony's QA. It obviously wouldn't. We know that it's rigorous. Not the Jacobs pistols. See, chicken. I mean, and that's the thing is this is where I feel like that's where don't necessarily get rid of the gun, but maybe use an adaptation of the gun. I don't know what or how. But again, using a one-handed weapon while you're holding onto the aim controller with two hands is it's uncomfortable. It really is. So anyway, I think that would be, those are really my bad takes on the game, which honestly, they're not really bad. It's really just an observation of, okay, there's no multiplayer. I guess the thing is that when I'm looking at this game, I just don't feel like it's fair to judge it for what it doesn't have rather than talk about everything it does have. Because if we again strip the idea that this game ever had multiplayer, strip that it's ever been a Borderlands title, Let's talk about what it does have, and holy crap, it has a lot, and it is good. It is so good. So we have to give it. We have to give it. We have to let it go, and I feel like we just have to accept what it is and only hope that the other things will come. But if they don't, I'm very satisfied, very satisfied with the game. Right. So, with that, the next part is the visuals, and you know I've kind of heard mixed things here, although I don't know why. And maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places, but I've heard a couple of people talk about the graphics as if it was a really cheap port, as if it really didn't look the same and it just had a lot of struggling and I'll be honest with you. I mean, for the mere size of the game itself, the visuals are amazing, and that's you have to consider something for a second. On the flat, on the flat version of the game, the graphics, like while they're cool looking, it's not necessarily overly impressive on a flat capable game. Um, Wait, Malawan guns? I'm not sure I've seen these gun types. Either that or I'm not paying attention to the names, which is entirely possible. Probable. It's probable. Um, on a flat game, the graphical style and things like that, it's really not hugely impressive because if you guys know anything, if we know anything about it, like cell shading typically renders takes less to render. It's easier to work with, but that's what gives you a seamless experience, right? The game looks a lot. I agree, Juice. It looks a lot better in the headset than it does on stream. And I playing it on a original PS4 like I always do, and it looks really good. I mean, it looks almost like a spot on reimagining of the flat version. And I, I've never seen. I mean, let's be honest. Like we've only seen a couple of ports, and none of them even compare to the flat version when it comes to visuals. And we have to give credence to the cell shading here because that's what makes it work. It makes it really pop and stand out because it already kind of had that sort of simplified look to it to begin with. So I think it was really awesome. Only thing is the head turn jitters when I honestly think is a glitch. Yeah, I have seen a couple of things that were like out of place. Like if I think Will, you were in my stream when I did my live stream. There was a lamp that you could tell was originally in the flat game. The lamp it was a hanging shade. In the original game, you could tell it was actually inside a building. But when they pulled it all into a VR environment, somehow that was not caught, and it's literally just hanging out in the middle of the sky. Who knows? That might even just be a glitch. I don't even know if that's still there, but I did find that. So very small things that I mean I am certainly not about to complain about. I did run into one glitch where I got caught on a porta potty trying to loot it. Yes, you can loot porta potties if you didn't know that already. Um, and I got caught. I had to restart the game, which was kind of a bummer. But again, that was after 2 hours of play, and I hadn't seen a single issue from there. So actually satisfied with the visuals. Would need Tiny Tina DLC to truly tell. Interesting. And everyone's talking about Tiny Tina DLC, and I think that'll be an interesting. That's going to be an interesting play on this to see if they bring Tina DLC and if they charge. I am curious about that. Skeptical when I saw the trailers because it looked so good. Yeah, but it really does look this good, chicken. It really does. You saw the light hanging outside too. Okay, cool. So I'm not the only one. Awesome. Um, so yeah, I mean, and I could really just hardly tell a difference from my PS4 copy of Borderlands 2 to this. I really just can't. The only difference that I can tell is that it's way more immersive and I'm way more engaged. And that makes a huge difference in my mind. So, and the toilet splattered in my face, so gross. Wait, hold on, Juice. You're not looting the porta potties? You have got to loot the porta potties, man. That's where like the best weapons are. I'm not sure if you're being serious or not, but you have to do that. Um, let's see here. Okay, so this is going to be probably a not as popular opinion, but I don't personally love the art style so much. Um, I think for me, cell shading has always been a very specific type of game. I don't know if anybody ever played Cell Damage back on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, I think. those were like overly cel shaded games, very cartoony, kiddish, but also, I mean, the gameplay was where it was and all that. Um, I think obviously Borderlands does it way better. We're talking about generations past, but I think for me, I personally prefer a certain level of realism. Um, but again, when we're talking about VR, see, this is why this is a double-edged sword because I'm eating my own words here. Because in VR, having such a seamless experience is probably preferable. It probably is. Like I think it's. I'm just gonna go with it is. It's preferable to maybe a slight upgrade in graphical content. Having a purely seamless experience is pretty great. Like cell shading, don't love it. It works decently in 3D, surprisingly. Oh, I bet. Yeah, implementation of shift keys was a nice touch. Glad to see they carried over. Agreed. Agreed. Um, oh, you know what? Something else I meant to put in the bad, and I didn't think about this. My one complaint with the customization options and the movement schemes in that thing is the button switch. I'm sorry, your gun switch is the move button. I understand why they did that, so that you can hold the button and you can move up like you would on a D-pad, right? So you can move your hand into the direction of what gun you want to pick. The problem is the quick tap is what bothers me, right? And a big reason it bothers me, and that's not so much because that doesn't work, is because I keep pressing that button thinking it's my jump. And you guys know exactly why when I say that. There's so many games that have that as like the mechanic. So I just kind of wish that I could like swap them so that my jump could be the move button and then my switch could be box. So I think that would be nice. So personally, I love the art style because I absolutely hate photorealism in games. Really? Like cell shading, very stylish. I think cartoony works in VR really well due to the resolution. I mean I agree too, Juice. I do. Chicken, I'm interested. What you hate photorealism? That's interesting. It's kind of crazy. Rather have a game in VR that looks meh but runs great over a game that looks great and runs like crap. Totally agree. Totally agree. Um, I actually think that raw data sort of suffered from that. At least in my experience, it tried to be a little bit prettier than it was capable of, and so some of the gameplay could struggle at times. But overall, that game's still great. I love that game. Um, yeah, right, right, Juicy. I constantly, man, constantly, I hit that button to jump, and I switch weapons, and I'm like, crap, I'm in more trouble than I was before. Um, so I wish I could do that. So, um, oh, you know what, and this is another note that I made too. So, cell shading is cool. Again, I'm not against cell shading specifically. It's just not my preference when it comes to this kind of a look. You are a cartoon. You are animated and all. Um, I don't hate cell shading, but after playing, I literally just played and reviewed Red Matter, and guys, the art in that game, the visuals of that game blew me away. Like it set a standard that I just haven't really experienced in VR because it really wasn't cartoony. It had a lot of really good photorealism aspects to it, and it was just so well done. I feel like photorealism is really boring. I like to see unique art. Also, I just don't feel like games need to reach the point of realism. I'm so glad we can jump at all. Yeah, true that, Juice. I can see what you're saying, Chicken. I can get behind that. Overall, I can get behind that. Yeah. Thank you, Solo. Raw data could have been better had the visuals been lessened. Agreed. Agreed, Cal. And it takes the magic of the virtual world away from me. Photorealism? Oh, I don't necessarily feel that way. I mean, a part of virtual reality for me is to put my mind in an environment as close to reality as it might think it is. This is going to be a very confusing sentence. So that I'm able to do something I couldn't do in reality, right? So like I love Super Hot, but the truth is that the visuals it's themselves, you're never going to actually feel like you're doing those things. Whereas in like say Firewall, for example, there is a certain level of photorealism that really gets you engaged, and you feel like you have to be more tactical than you might be in something a little bit more cartoonish or whatnot. But I mean, this is all preference. I mean, this is something that I don't feel like is really a standard, or should it be? Honestly, I like both. Let's have both. Um, I'd love to play a VR game with the intro into the Spider Verse style. Can we talk about that for a second? If you guys haven't seen Spider Man Into the Spider Verse, you need to see it. It's it's and I say that if you're, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan, it's probably the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen, at the very least in a long while. But I flippin' loved it. Oh, shut up, Cal. Does anyone even play Spider? I still play Spider-Man like almost every night. Okay, while I eat Cheetos and cry. That's what I. Yeah, you tell him. Will you get him? um, what was it about? Oh yeah, so specifically, yeah. So after playing Red Matter, the photorealism, the graphics, the art style in that game are just mind blowing. And again, I'm on an original PS4, so it's like I can't even imagine what it would be like on a Pro. You know what I mean? I mean, it would be crazy. Um, so going from that into this, you're kind of like, oh, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the art style. I think it's fun. It doesn't affect the game for me at all. However, do I think I would enjoy it more if it was in a more photorealistic setting? Probably. I probably would. But that's just me. Again, let's have both. Like I said, we can all be friends. Jake and we can be friends. Your favorite animated film of all time? Okay, so you know what? It reminded me a lot of The Incredibles in the way like actions and things took place, and even the progression. Again, we're jumping back and forth. Now we're talking about the Spider-Man movie again, but also with like everything we've ever wanted from a Spider-Man movie. So it was really good. Oh, Juice, you got to see it, man. So I can't wait to see it again. Can't wait to see it again. All right, all right. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the experience. Um, what did I put down here for this? Yeah, I mean, like what I don't really know. It's hard to say what to say here because it's Borderlands. I mean, we know, at least most of us, maybe not Woofin, but most of us know what to expect from Borderlands. And a part of what's great about the experience here is what I had thought about Borderlands before and what I think about it now. Because I didn't said I wasn't a huge fan until now. And now I'm like, yep, I am ready to get involved. I want to know the story. I want to know the characters. I can't wait to explore this world and just truly, truly just tinker with everything. I'm looking forward to it. But Borderlands 2 VR visuals are great. Draw distance is great, and post processing effect are all there, albeit less. You know what? Now, Cal, is like, yeah. I mean, the fact is that, and you can even see it in the video behind me. It the distance isn't blurry, right? The peripherals aren't blurry. This game is huge. It's I mean it's like, so like you talk about like when you're talking about photorealism, let's look at Resident Evil 7. And no, I haven't played it, but I have seen VR playthroughs and VR footage and everything like that, and you get the peripheral blur and all that, which helps them render and helps give better graphics, but they just don't need it here, which is where I'm like, yes, go cell shade. Let's do that more often. And I'm okay with it if that's what it takes to get some really solid experiences and people into headsets, because the tech will come. It will come. I'm not worried about it. I just want good stuff right now, and that's what I feel like they're hitting home here. Can't wait to fight Saturn and the Warrior in VR. To fight Saturn and the Warrior in VR. You're talking about characters in this. Gotcha. Um, let's see here. Yeah, I mean, so apart from the optimization is huge. Yeah. Apart from the name, it's obviously the being a port from the original title. I would sell this to somebody who's ever played a game. Be like, if you've ever liked Borderlands before, you're going to love it now, because this is truly the difference. The difference from playing a game and experiencing a true adventure. Like, that's the way I look at it. And a great example would be Red Matter, right? Going back to Red Matter, if you guys have seen any gameplay of this, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. But the truth is that at its core, it's a puzzle game, and it's an exploration game as well. On a flat experience, they would have to do a ton more to make it interesting. But in VR, it's perfect. It's wonderful, and obviously there's a leap there between the two options, but they just do it so well. And so I feel like that's exactly what we're talking about here. It was decent in flat, at least in my opinion. This game was decent in flat, but in VR it just takes it to the next level, and suddenly I'm immersed in this world, and I just don't want to get out of it because I, you can just do such cool things in this, and the games, the guns. There's just a lot. There's just a lot. Story wise, let's see here. We're getting to the point where devs know how to utilize the console's power properly. Absolutely, Juice. Story wise, I feel it's fantastic, but a big part of the experience was co op. But I only played Borderlands solo. Mm. Yeah, see, and I only played it co op, really. I really only played it co op. Look at Rec Room, even just from where it was in February. True that, Juice, true that. Even more pumped because I haven't played Borderlands. Yeah, and if you haven't played Borderlands, I think this is going to be a mind blowing experience. Game is quite a learning curve. This game is a learning curve, or Red Matter. I guess I was talking about Red Matter. I assume you're talking about this game. I didn't feel like there really was one. I actually, like I said, I feel like they killed it with the moves. I picked up the move controls quick. It felt really good and really quickly. But maybe, I mean, it's gonna be different for everybody for sure. But I'm sure that the DS4 was huge as well. The learning curve is probably easy on the DS4. I haven't even tried that yet though, because I honestly don't know that I ever will. The moves are just too much fun. They are way too much fun. Um, more on the experience itself. It's obviously great to see a full locomotion FPS with dual moves or the DS4. Obviously, especially to the scale. It's we've seen things like it, but not to this scale, and it's absolutely amazing. um, yeah, let's see. What did I? Yeah, it's like I said. I mean, I will honestly spend days in this. Like quantitative, altogether, I'm probably going to spend a lot of time in this virtual world, and this is where I have to go back to the price tag. And I hate to keep harping on this, but it's like what do people want? What do you want? Like this is something that's going to keep my attention for a long time. And I can imagine it being something that has a lot of replay value too, because it's just so big. You can come back to it and restart, play as a new character, and then suddenly you're redoing everything. Like this has what we want from a title, which is why it's priced appropriately. Sorry, I'm off the train. I'm off the train. A lot of mechanics, yeah, yeah. There is, and honestly, chicken. That's one of the things that I didn't enjoy so much in the flat. Interestingly enough, though, I actually think that those things are better in VR. So, for example, like the menu screens, I did not like them in flat. I thought they were kind of confusing, and they just didn't like the colors didn't work well for me or for my eyes. But in VR, it's easy. It's super easy. So, I'm pretty happy about that. Definitely. That's on stats, buffs, elements, gun rolls. Yep. Yep. Tetris is worth it. See, this is where I wonder if Tetris really is worth it because it's $10 cheaper than this game, and it is most certainly. This game is most certainly $10, more than $10 better than Tetris Effect. I'm sorry, I have to say it will. Tetris Effect is a lot of fun, and I look forward to owning it one day when it's on sale. But it's not. It's not this. It's not. It can't be. Yeah, and then again, the last thing on the VR experience itself is just this. For me, this game ties for best use of moves as Beat Saber. Again, I think I'll recant that and say that it really is a Beat Saber. I think takes the cake. I'm just so impressed with how quickly Beat Saber, how quickly the moves will track my movement. It's almost seamless on every account. But this one does a really really good job as well. Um, Finally, the thing that I would say is just the verdict on the game for me. Whoops, that's the wrong button. And for me, I really can't sing its praises enough. I really can't. It's just an unmatched adventure. It's got with its action, its options, the quality of the gameplay, the quality of the graphics, the overall engagement that you'll get from it playing it in PSVR versus playing it in flat. And even at the sacrifice of multiplayer, it's amazing. It's amazing, and this is honestly this is why I got into VR. This is the title that I feel like I've personally been waiting for. as it captures everything that I would want to have in a VR experience. So my heart has been broken. Well, I just why don't you know what? Why don't we turn the tables here and why don't you just love Borderlands more than Tetris? Why don't we make it that way? How's that? End of the day, it's still Tetris. $40, no thank you. 60 minutes into this discussion, let's go another 60. Ooh, Tetris at 5. Yeah, I mean, I think anyone would take Tetris Effect at 5, you guys. I think anybody would, let's be honest with you. At the same time, I'm not going to dog on Tetris Effect. It is a ton of fun. And the truth is that at the same argument, like, how much time can I get out of it? That's a game that I probably would sink a lot of time into as well, but almost unwillingly. Like, part of the reason I don't want to get it right now is I feel like it would take up a lot of my time. I'm sure it would be a ton of fun, but I'd probably never beat Will's score, just like nobody else. And I don't know. I just there's so many other things I got going on, especially with like new games and reviews and stuff. I just can't see myself putting that much time into games that are only 15 minutes long at a time. Borderlands 2 VR since VR was a thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, this game is this is the thing. This is why the IGN review upsets me so much. It's not even that like to me this isn't personal, but it's because people are so invested in Borderlands. Like this is a huge deal, and for them to be lazy about it, because that's really all it is. You can't tell me that they don't have the people to get it done. You can't tell me that they don't have the tech to get it done, or that even that Sony wouldn't have sent them all of this stuff to get it done. The problem was is that they don't think VR is important, and so they were chumps, and they just didn't put any time into it, and it really irks me, really irks me. So, um, to kind of spice up to emphasize the verdict here a little bit, I feel like again to go back what I talked about in the beginning um, of the discussion. PSVR has proven to be a huge contender in the VR market this year alone, and I think that Sony has played it close to the belt, close to the chest, and they've done a really good job of building the hype and the excitement and just kind of blowing it out of the water at the end of the year. Beat Saber releasing, and I know this wasn't Sony specifically, but Beat Saber releasing at the end of the year, Astrobot releasing at the end of, or the beginning of Q4, end of Q3. I can't remember which one it was. Um, Not to mention Tetris Effect and now Borderlands, and they just keep coming. And suddenly, I'm not looking at it like, well, maybe I should get a Vive. Maybe I'll work my way into it. I'm not looking at it that way anymore. I'm now looking at it. This is a platform that's going to hold its weight, and it's going to be a heavyweight contender, I think. And I think it's going to keep doing that. I think so. I think PlayStation in general is on that path. They're taking the steps to be heavyweight contenders in this arena, as they are in the regular console arena as well. So I just think it's huge, and it's one of the best, in my opinion. This game shows how great a true platform game for PSVR can be, and that it's just people's thoughts of its limitations are kind of, it should be out the door, in my opinion. Now, just to say, hold on, what did I miss here? Oh, okay. Passing day, the winds blow stronger joy to the light that keeps the reminder. Bioshock VR, yep. And what's funny is that I personally think that might be what they're waiting for. Remember, they're waiting to see the community's response about the game before they do anything else. They didn't say before we implement AIM. No, 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 no. They said before they do anything, right? I think that they might be interested in the market. I think that's huge. Kind of string the side of heart. Is this is lyrics to that song? Is it? Well, good lord, beautiful. Things are just getting started, man. 2019, it really is. Chicken really is. Drunk, welcome, man. And you were just streaming too. Were you doing Borderlands? I don't remember. I saw it pop up. Um, okay, so a couple things I do kind of want to announce before I start to wrap up here. So the first thing is I am going to take a bit of a Christmas vacation here from, at the very least, doing reviews. I might be doing some sparse streaming here or there, but I've got coming Friday, I'm taking time off till the 2nd of December. In which case, I'm sorry, the 2nd of January. That's when I will pick back up again. Hopefully, I'll have a brand new game that I can stream. We'll see if we can figure that out. Um, Infinite, Infinite Bioshock though. The hook for sliding around would be, yeah, yeah, it would be cool. I have to admit, those are other games that I never fully got into as well. But I bet you VR would do it for me. I bet you it would. The song in Tetris Effect. Yeah, no, I know what song you're talking about. I know what song you're talking. As soon as I read the second line, I knew what it was. Anyways. Oh, Battlezone. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. I haven't tried that. Everyone says it's pretty good. I would like to, but all the monies. So anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I won't be getting no reviews until the beginning of the year, and then I'm hoping to release a review in the within the first week of beginning of the year. But it's also that week is the week of my birthday, so we'll see. I might be busy. Um, the other thing is that yeah, I'm excited to enjoy the time off. I'm also really excited to keep playing some games. I really kind of would like to get a couple more streams in before Christmas if possible, but I'm not sure. Well, you're going to be fine. You want to know why? Your head's going to be buried in some Borderlands 2 this time next week. You're going to be just fine. Trust me, buddy. Trust me. Um, the other thing I wanted to do is I'm actually going to try and do a giveaway before Christmas. I've got 2 games to give away. So look out for a video on that. I'm hoping to get that video out tomorrow. Either tomorrow or Wednesday. But I'll be posting a video about the giveaway, how it's going to work and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I think that most of you guys may have these games already, but for some people they may not. So we'll see. It'll be nice to just be able to do that just for Christmas time and everything like that, and I'll announce the winner on Christmas Eve, I think. So so yeah, man, so much to talk about here. Let's see, what do we got? Can't survive. Pick up Battlezone when it gets HOTAS support. I don't know what that means. No, you got to ramp up in December. Only $10 right now till tomorrow. Anyways, worth $10. Is it really only $10? Dude, I might get it then. Maybe we should play. I didn't know that. That's awesome. I haven't been checking though. I know that there's a lot of games are on sale. I just haven't been on top of it at all. So, ramp up in December, man. Oh man, I can't ramp up. Honestly though, I see that a lot of games are coming out. A lot of people are ramping up too. But I've got to take a break, and I've been looking forward to this break for a couple months now. So I gotta take it off. And the truth is, the reviews take the most time. Like this obviously only takes the time that I put a little time into it before, but the time that we're spending right now just chatting is what takes the most time. But those reviews, man, those can take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. So it's quite a bit. Oh, the flight stick. Oh, okay, cool. Or Santa Simulator VR. That's exactly what it is. And it comes in a giant red bag. Santa's giant bag. So it's going to be perfect. Get it. It's awesome. Okay, so here's the problem. Here's my only problem with it about getting Battlezone right now is I don't know when I'll play it. I have such a backlog already, you guys. It's killing me. What's in the VR section? Just regular sales section. Hands-on throttle and stick to be. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll have to look at it. It's Christmas time. I've got 2 kiddos. I don't know if I can do it. Gotta buy them Christmas presents, Kids, I don't even know what the kids are into these days. Too old. Oh man. Okay. Well, with that, I appreciate everybody stopping by, everybody hanging out with me, going over some Borderlands 2. I always look forward to these. These are always a lot of fun. Game of the Year version of that? Of Battlezone? Oh, awesome. Yeah, really, it's gonna be a tight winter, you guys. It's gonna be tight. We're at the moment we're using friction to keep the heat in the house. I'm just kidding. Obviously not. I'm using a computer right now, obviously. Anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping in and hanging out with me, talking Borderlands 2. Hopefully, come the first of the year, I'll try to still make these fairly regular every Monday. If not every Monday, every other. It just kind of depends on what the topics might be. I try to. It seems more recently it's going to be on on current games, but all depending. I might look at some old stuff or kind of whatever comes, and I even might make this more of a current events kind of a thing in the VR arena. So thinking about changes for the new year. Haven't really decided yet. So let me know what you guys think, but we'll go from there. Gonna ask. Uh, I was gonna ask if you got kids. I have no kids or women. Plenty of time. Yeah, man, I've got 2 kids. Thanks, Juice. I appreciate it. You got it. You got it, Will. You got it, Cal. Thanks for coming. Chicken, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Drunk, for coming in, man. I appreciate it. We'll have to watch your video after this. Starting to tear up. Will, I'll be around. I'll be around. You can always message me on PSN and I'll respond to it in the new year. That's funny. It's funny. It's funny. Yeah, absolutely, man. I honestly, Juice, that's kind of why I do it. I mean, it's like I said, it's just fun to kind of chat, everybody having a good time, just talking about stuff and talking about games, and that's why I think I might open it up and make it more